A very good morning to everyone. Welcome to the public lecture series on Alumni Industry Connect. And the topic for today is Industry Expectations and Avenues for Graduate, organized by the Department of English, Jyotirmas College Autonomous. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our principal, Dr. Sister Lalita Thomas, our resource person, Ms. Rupa Pereira, faculty members, and all participants present here, and also those who have joined us through virtually. Now I call upon Mumbai for the prayer.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Amen.
An alumna of Jyotirmas College, Ms. Rupa Pereira taught English literature and language at the undergraduate level from 2002 to 2006 in Jyotirmas College itself. She has over 15 years of industry experience. She was a technical writer and communication trainer at Tata Consultancy Services, an assistant manager at Oracle, and a manager of marketing communication and senior communication specialist at Unisys Global Services India. Presently, she is working as the manager of second marketing at Freshworks. A hearty welcome to you, ma'am. At the end of the talk, an interactive question answer session will be there. All the participants who have joined online can put their questions in the chat box. Now I hand over the stage to you, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah. It's really nice to be back at Jyotirmas. I have such fond memories, both as a student and as a teacher. I'm so glad to be back, and I'm glad to be back with young people, people who are just entering the industry, who are finishing their studies at the cusp of, a new beginning of life. So I'm so excited to be here with all of you, and I hope you take away something from this talk that will help you in your next journey. So to begin with, can I just so as the talk says, industry expectations and avenues for graduates. So I'm in the marketing industry. I've been there for about 15 years now. So I'm essentially going to talk about different aspects of marketing. What can you expect if you go into a marketing organization? What are the different functions? All of that. Before we get into the brass tacks, let me quickly show you something. Right? When we think of marketing, what comes to mind? Selling. Ma'am, the teachers shouldn't answer this. This is for the students. Now, you want to buy? Yeah. Hello? I have to go back to teaching mode. I can't stand here at this podium and do this. So what comes to mind when you say marketing? customers, selling, advertisements, right? That's one of the first things you'll probably think of when it comes to marketing. So let's take a look, right? Since we all think marketing is so much about advertising. Oh, that was a fun one. Any guesses what this would be? That was the Apple ads. And all of these were B2C ads. When I say B2C, I mean business to customer ads. I have one more. I mean, it's a B2B ad, not as exciting, but I just had to put that in. Just because I work for Freshworks. You know? Let's talk about these ads for a bit, just a few minutes. I don't want you to tell me which ad you liked, why you liked it. I don't want to know any of that, or what those ads were about, none of that. Can you tell me what went into the making of these ads? What do you think? Yeah, I have somebody who's on the mic.
The first thing that comes to mind is what a customer will expect. How do you hold their small attention in a matter of seconds, and how to sell the best of your product to them?
Perfect. Very good. Anything else?
I think why are we selling this? Like the relevance which comes, how can we connect to the customer and some sense of humor we saw in the advertisement.
Sure, sure. How many people would have made this ad? These ads? One person, 2%?
No, it's a teamwork.
It's a teamwork. A team? Will it be one team that does this ad?
Planet.
Planning, okay, very good. There's planning involved. But how many teams would come together to do this ad? Do one ad. Let's look at the Freshworks ad because that's the simplest. It's not as large scale as the other two. How many teams would have worked to get this ad? 5 to 6 teams. Okay, so we have 5 to 6 teams working on a 30-second ad, right? Now, what are these teams that are going to be working on those ads? We'll all agree that the ad comes out of the marketing department.
Yes.
Yeah, in an organization, and I work in the B2B space, which is business to business selling. So I'll talk a little bit around that space. While all principles of marketing work across B2C, B2B, they're similar. So let's look at, like a B2B ad. So you've got, it comes from the marketing department in an organization. So what are the different aspects of marketing, different functions of marketing that go into building not just an ad, but any kind of promotion? Like you said, right? You're selling something, you're connecting to a customer, you want to tell them what is my product, Why should you use this product? All of that is the job of marketing. But when we say marketing, it's such a huge umbrella term. And all you know is but who are the people in marketing? What are the different functions in marketing? If you want a job in marketing, where should you look? What kind of interests, what kind of skill sets should you have to go into these different bits of marketing? Like for a 30-second ad or any of these ads, right? These are the different teams that would actually come together to build anything, either a campaign, whether it's an ad campaign, whether it's an event, whether you're doing a virtual event, online event. There are different teams within a marketing organization that come together to work and make that happen. So all of these teams, are you familiar with any of these? Anyone familiar with any of these?
Content.
Content marketing. This is an English class largely, so content marketing, excellent. Digital marketing, this is the Gen Z or whatever is next. So this is related to you guys. Brand, product. What do these do? What are these functions? What do each of these functions do? Like you said, you know digital marketing. What do you think digital marketing does? Put up posts on social media, ma'am. That's it. Quite easy. Not at all difficult. Why do we need an MBA after this? We do it every day, ma'am. We put up posts. So do they put up posts? What else do they do?
So in digital marketing, there are many subunits of it. For example, affiliate marketing, under which we work under a company and we promote the brand product. And for that, we get commission in it. And digital marketing, social media marketing is a part of digital marketing. And it's widely, I think, metaverse. Right now, it's an ongoing project, I guess.
Yes.
So everything that we see physically right now is gonna go into the virtual world.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I understand by
Yeah,
digital
sure.
marketing.
Yeah, she's right. A lot of it is changing what she's saying. Some parts of not so much affiliate marketing, but digital marketing thing does involve social media marketing. It calls for, a change in how we're looking at products. How do you reach the customer across, different channels, all of that. I'll talk a little bit about each of these departments. And then we'll go into, question answers or whatever. And if any time you have questions, you can ask me. So like I said, let's start with brand, right? You already know and you're familiar with brand marketing. So what should a brand do, really? What does a brand do for a product? Make it look useful and attractive. Why is it important for a product to be a brand?
It sets up a foundation and audience for the product to be released.
Yeah.
Basically, advertising it before the product is even coming into platforms.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So she says that, it's important for someone to relate to the product, to know what the product is. Okay. Trust and quality. If you have a brand, you build credibility, right? You know that, that's why you rely on that brand. It creates recall value for you. A brand also creates identity. That is the biggest job of brand marketing, to create a sense of identity for this brand. What does this brand stand for? What is the vision? What is the value? What should it look like? What should people associate with the brand? Like if you looked at Freshworks, it says solutions that are ridiculously easy. So ease of use, that's our message, right? That's what we want people to take away from a Freshworks product or a solution, something that's easy to use. So that's what a brand identity does. Now, brand marketing has various functions, right? This is what it's supposed to do. You have design, you have strategy, you have advertising, you have PR that folds into brand, some part of internal comms, employer branding. All of these areas come into brand marketing. They fold under the larger umbrella of brand marketing. So they are responsible for creating the logo, the color, the identity, the share of voice in the market for the brand, putting out articles, And like, their job doesn't end, once the product is launched. You continue to build the brand. Brand actually has a long-term impact. When you launch the product, that's mostly product marketing or demand marketing. But when you want to go into brand, the results are slower but longer lasting. So that's the job of brand marketing. And sometimes they also police everybody, right? Because I'm sure if the GNC logo is written upside down, you can't use it like that. So you have a function that watches over it. It's the custodian of the brand. And that's what a brand marketing team will do. They'll set out guidelines. What is the voice? What is the tonality that you have to write? You're going to be writers for the brand. What should that tonality look like? All of that is the guidance that the brand marketing team will bring to the brand. That's essentially the function of brand. Then you have product marketing. What is product? I know I've already put it up there, and some of you said product marketing. What do you think? I'm sure some of the things that go into product marketing is, like I said, before you build a product, right? You have to know what does the market look like? What problem is this product going to solve? If this product is not going to solve anything, no one's going to buy this. So what is the need for this product? So you have to go look at what is in the product, what is available, who are the competitors for this product. You have to do a lot of research before you even launch a product, before you launch a feature into the market. So you have to figure out what is competition saying about this? What is the market saying about this? So one of the things that product marketers have to do is understand the market really well. That's one. They have to figure out what is the pricing for this product? How much value should I attach to this product? What will bring me profitability? They also decide, should we give discounts? Is this the time to give a discount? Should we give this for free? All of those things come from the product marketers. Product marketers also figures out what is the marketing plan for this product? What is the positioning for this product in the market? What should where should we position the market? How do we come up with that tagline of ridiculously, right? You figure out from what is your competition saying and where are the gaps? So you figure out that messaging, the positioning of the product. You create marketing channels. Where should this product be available? Where should my audience be able to see this product? What channels should I market on? That's also some kind of an advisory role that product marketing will play. Product marketers are also have to create sales enablement material. Now somebody has to sell this, right? And she is not going to understand the product. Not all products are B2C or it's not Coca-Cola. So you're going to have to explain to sales, what is this product? What are its features? What is it going to do? And sales also need help in pitching this product. So you'll create sales decks, you'll create pitch decks, you'll create roadmaps for the product. You'll also build out collateral for the product, a data sheet, what are the different specs of this product. All of that a product marketer actually builds. So there is a lot of content in this area as well. Okay, so if you're looking to move into marketing, product, and if you are somebody who likes understanding the technology, features, that sort of a bent, then this is a good place for you to look at. One of the things that you can look at is definitely product marketing. So this is a new term in marketing itself. It's called growth marketing, which moves away a little bit from traditional marketing sense. Earlier, when we said marketing, there's something called top of the funnel marketing, right? Which is top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. That's the user journey, right? When somebody we say is at the top of the funnel, they're just thinking of, maybe I want to browse, buy this solution. They're not sure. They're figuring out, is this right for me? Do I want it? They're doing more research about the product. So that's the top of the funnel audience. So essentially marketing would capture that audience. But with growth marketing, the idea is to grow a business, get closer to the business. There's a lot of data analysis in this aspect of marketing. You've got to be able to figure out who your customers are, where are they in the funnel journey, and accordingly provide the kind of material they need to help them make those decisions and move them down the funnel. You've got to get someone from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. Bottom of the funnel is when somebody makes a decision. That's the time they're actually making sure that this is the product I want. In the middle of the funnel, they're comparing products. You're looking at, okay, should I buy an Apple Watch? Should I buy a garment? You're figuring out those things. And that's the stage of comparing. So a growth marketer invests his time in all parts of this funnel. So you engage an audience, you engage your customer at the beginning on all stages of the funnel, which is why it's saying you drive campaign. Marketing usually runs campaigns. That's one of the things that's key to marketing. So that's one of the things that they do. Once somebody comes onto your website, how do you get these customers, by the way? How do you think marketers are reaching you? How do they know? I mean, you know, right? Like you'll be talking to your friend about, going somewhere and you'll have, Google will show you so many ads. Google's not listening to you, contrary to what we believe. Right? They're not. Google's not listening. But I mean, you have to think of something and that ad is there. Doesn't that happen to you?
Yes, all the time.
Yes. So how is this? How is this happening? AI, very good. So how are marketers reaching you? How do they know that you are here?
Also, what is the algorithm? 20%.
There are algorithms.
When you visit the site, you
Organic and paid marketing.
Excellent. What is organic and what excellent? Organic and paid marketing.
Organic is through natural searches. So when you search and based on what you search, the most results will come on top. And paid marketing is companies will pay, so they go through bidding wars to get certain keywords. So when you put that keyword in the search, the company that bids the most amount of money will come on the top.
Yeah.
So you're most likely to pick the most top products because you don't want to scroll through the bottom.
Yes.
So either organic or you go paid search.
Very good. That's definitely one of the avenues that marketers use, right? Paid search and organic. Like she said, organic is when a company doesn't pay money. You do SEO. How you come whenever you do a Google search, you have top 5 rankings, right? So every company wants to be on that top 5. Like if you say top 100 institutions, you want JNC to be definitely top 5, right? Now you can trick the system. I mean, of course, you've got to be good. Besides that, besides the fact that you have to have a good product, you're also competing with very good products. You are a good product, no doubt, but there's also Mount Carmel, which is an equally good college, or Christ or Joseph's. So how do you beat that, right? So like she said, one of them is these organic searches. These, you do something called SEO, or I'll talk a little bit about that. It's called search engine optimization, search engine marketing, which maybe you guys have a small course in it or one of those things, right? So SEO, SEM, organic searches usually rely on SEO and SEM kind of marketing. There's also paid, where you pay these channels like LinkedIn, you do Google ads, you do DV360, you put up ads on all of these. And essentially you collect information from all of this. Every time you click on something, either a cookie or something that's always in your system will allow the marketer to figure out where you come from, what are the different aspects of your website that you've looked at, what have you downloaded in that website? It's called user intent, right? So I understand your behavior when you come on my website, the kind of ads you're clicking. I know which part of the user journey you are. If I have built my journey out really well, I'm sorry, this thing is not auto. If I built my journey really well over when I plan my campaign, if I build that journey, I will know which part of that user journey are you. And that's what growth marketers attempt to do. They try to figure out which part of that journey you are, what kind of content should I give you, how should I engage with you at those different stages. And all of that requires a great deal of analysis, a lot of data crunching, interpreting data, and growth marketing also is about customer retention. keeping customers loyal. You just don't want one customer, you want repeat buyers. You want to be able to cross-sell to them. You want to be able to upsell to them. So growth marketing thinks through all of that. Is this customer going to stay with me the long term? That is what growth marketing wants to achieve. The other thing they do is, and like I said, when you come on that website, they get your information, then they start nurturing the lead. I've got to move you down that funnel. Initially, you're just interested sort of in the product. I've got to get you to a place where you buy it. So I'll give you email content. I'll probably send you in-app messages, push notifications. You must have seen, right? Swiggy will send you. We have a sale now. Myntra will send you. I have sale now. I have sale tomorrow. Every time there's a sale. So, shoes are on sale. Clothes, bags are on sale. So in-app notifications. So all of these things is what marketers use to nurture a lead. Nurture is to grow that lead, ensure that they become or they convert. That's the word we use, conversion metrics, that they convert into a buyer. That's the ultimate goal. So one of the jobs of growth marketing is to nurture. When you come into the website, we don't expect you to sign up and buy clothes. We want you to come back. We want you to stay longer. That's what they do when they are nurturing that lead, right? That's one of the things they do. Another thing is bridge that gap. Now if I have to go to sales, right? You've just come into the website. Rupa's just seen this. Then tomorrow, if I get a sales call for Apple Watch, I've just seen this ad. I'm not ready to buy that Apple Watch. And that sales call is a waste of time for that salesperson, right? Because I'm not interested. So growth marketing has the job of sending leads that are sales qualified, or that means they're ready to convert. That's the gap that growth marketing sort of bridges. That sales has leads that are most likely to convert. And sales guys are not wasting their time going after people who have just come to do research on the website. A lot of times we are only doing research, right? We're not many times buying things. So that's one of the things that growth marketers have to do. Digital marketing. Like someone said, you do social media here, right? But it's not just when you say social media, there's a lot of listening that you have to do. And digital marketing has really become front and center now and is picking up, right? From all, everything is moving online. The skills shortages in this particular area, and it's going to stay for some time. Digital marketing is not going to die. So this is going to be, and this is right now still nascent. This journey is not fully, we don't have complete experts in this area yet, and people are constantly looking for this, right? So digital marketing involves digital technologies, right? What are the different platforms that exist? Is it only LinkedIn, Google, TV360? What are the different platforms? What are the requirements of those technologies? How do you create an ad on LinkedIn? What are the ad specs? What are the keywords that you need to use that ad? All of that information, digital marketing has to give. Digital marketing folk do not typically write the content. Your job is a lot, it depends, different companies have different things, but a lot of times they are in charge of the deployment of that content, right? So they tell you what technologies are working, which channels are working, where are our customers, what should we be telling them to engage them, which posts are getting more engagement, what do the metrics look like? All of that is what digital marketing will tell you. Where should our products be selling? Which of these platforms are working for us? All of this will come from them. A large part of digital marketing is also figuring out SEO or search engine optimization, right? Either for organic or for paid. You've got to have those keywords that work, right? So either you pay for the keywords or you do a ranking search. You have tools, right? All of that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So all of that is what the digital marketing team does, right? And they also have to do planning and buying. What is the digital strategy that you have to build? You have 5 ads. What should all of those 5 ads be talking about? Where should those 5 ads be placed? Which is the first ad you need to show to someone? Which is the second one? When do you show all of these? Frequency. So media planning and media buying, right? Like you said, if they're going to go into paid media, what media do you want to buy? Which one, what platform should you be buying? What should the CTR rate be? Those kind of questions or recommendations is what digital marketing sort of brings to the table. Field marketing, right? This is a little bit more traditional, and pre-pandemic, there was so much work that was doing, and now this is kind of coming back. This is more direct marketing, right? Your job is mostly to execute events, ideate on events, think of, unique ideas where you can bring customers together, set up events, either virtual, webinars, road shows. Think of, how can you engage a customer in person? All of that is what a field marketer would do. You work with vendors, agencies, locally, what is working in the region. Those are the kind of things. Who do you invite for these events? Work with influencers, get them to come and make a talk, present. All of them. You have a question?
Questions will be taken later, girls. There will be a
The
question and answer
door-to-door
session.
salesman that come selling books and like
No, that's not.
That-
No, in that sense, they are not. That is not a field marketer. That will be sales. He's not doing marketing, right? He's actually selling. That's a salesperson. He's not actually. When you go
Session later.
yeah. So when those door-to-door salesmen are salespeople, they are actually coming and saying, buy this now. A field marketer is not going to show you, not going to tell you, buy the product now. When you go for an event, they showcase the product. They demo the product. But if you want, it's not like you can just buy the product. Your job is to let you play with the product, understand the product better, all of that. That is your job, not necessarily to sell. That's a sales job. Hello?
Yeah.
This is, I think, a slide that's of most interest to all of you, right? Content marketing. Yeah, so the job of content marketing won't only be writing all the time. Writing is a big part of it. But before you write, you need to actually build out, you have to build that strategy, right? You have to figure out, why are you saying what you're saying? What is that collateral you're building? Content marketing, you will usually write blogs, white papers, you will do videos, all of that, right? Podcasts, all of the content, the large pieces of content will come from the content marketing team. Field will use it, digital marketing will use it, brand marketing will come to content marketing, all of that. But again, content marketing, you need to understand different stages of the funnel. What are people looking for in during that buyer's journey? If it's top of the funnel content, what should I be writing about? Middle of the funnel, what should I write? Bottom of the funnel, what should I write? How do I keep that audience engaged? All of that. So you build a strategy, you create that content, you execute. Do you want to put this on the website? Do you want to put this on social media? Where should your webinar be? Which platform should your webinar be? You execute that. Then you also do a distribution strategy, right? Do you put it on your SEO page? Do you have it up on your LinkedIn pages? How do you promote that content that you've written, right? Again, that distribution plan must come from the content marketing team. The content calendar, the editorial standards, a lot of that comes from the content marketing team. And content marketing, a lot of the job is to understand, what does the customer need next? This piece of content he's consumed. What is the next thing I should be giving him if he's not yet converted? This person has not bought my product. So what should I be telling him next to persuade him to buy my product? So you've got to have that kind of analysis. It's not just writing, you need creativity, but you also need analytical thinking when you want to be a content marketer. Measurement. This is a big part. I know we don't learn this when we are studying, But this is a very big part of any marketing, especially for content marketing, because it's difficult to measure content. Right? Content is subjective. Does someone like it? So how do you measure content? You have to derive those metrics, click-through rates, sessions on the website, CTRs, all of that, right? Engagement metrics. So you measure that. And once you measure your content, then you build better content. If this is not working, you change that piece of content. So that all of that is the job of content marketing. Why is something not working? That's something you have to figure out once you measure that piece of content. These are broadly the different areas of marketing, right? Now you can ask me, yeah, ma'am, you've told us all this about marketing, great, all functions look very good. So what should you do to be part of these functions? What skills do you think you already have? Just broadly, just given what I've told you. Creative writing, okay. What skills do you kind of have? Analytical thinking. How do you say that? What have you done to prove that you've got some analytical thinking? Any projects that you've done? You would have, I mean, come on, you're literature students. Analytical thinking is basic to you, right? When you do decode a piece of poetry, what are you doing? You are doing critical thinking, yeah? So that's a key skill that you possess, not just creative writing, right? You have analytical thinking ability, critical thinking ability. That's something that you already have with you, and that's something you can use already. Okay, so let's look at some of the skills. Now, skills usually we call soft skills, technical skills. Soft skills nowadays is also called workplace skills, right? And you need to have both of these. The industry expects something called Z skills. Z skills is soft skills and technical skills are a parallel line, and they're joined by a horizontal line, which is you, which means you need to have both these, a combination of the two. You can't just have technical skills and hope to be like a great marketer or things like that. You need to have both skills. So let's look at some of the soft skills, right? Because I said let's start with the soft skills because a lot of this is something you already possess. Communication. That's basic to marketing or any all of these skills are not necessarily, related to marketing. This is something that you could do for any job. So communication is soft. You'll have to talk to stakeholders, you'll have to talk to teammates, all of this. And in marketing especially, you should be able to craft a message very succinctly. You should be able to communicate your idea. You have to be able to present something to a group, and you have to be able to influence that thinking, which is why you need to have great communication skills. Creativity. In marketing, you're a lot of time working with ideas, right? And you have to be able to bring new ideas. How can I reach a customer differently? How can I do this research differently? What kind of emailer can I write that will elicit the, interest of my customer? So creative thinking, that's a big skill. Problem solving, there are always problems, always. Okay, a speaker is not come. So what do? You have a webinar set. What do? Do you put on a jacket and then you start speaking? You've got to be able to think on your feet, especially if you're doing events, when you're doing product marketing, any kind of marketing, right? You need to be able to think very quickly. Interpersonal skills, you're not going to work in isolation. You're not sitting in a cubicle and just writing your piece of content. You're going to have to work with designers. If you're going to work with a product marketing team, you have to work with them to figure out what are the features of the product. If you're working for field, you have to understand what is the event about. You have different teams that you're working with. So you have to learn to collaborate. You have to be able to do stakeholder management. How do I push back? How do I say that? How do I say no? When do I say yes? And how do I keep the peace within the organization without fighting, that sort of a thing. How do you collaborate and work together? Everybody asks for team players. Everyone wants somebody who can get along with someone else, right? So that's a big skill to have, to be able to collaborate. And collaborate also means, like I said, influence. It's how do you get someone to do something without imposing your authority. I'm the chief, so do it. That's not how it works, right? You've got to get them to influence without imposing authority. So that kind of collaborative techniques, right? You need a design. The design has to go out, but it's 5 o'clock. Designer is saying, no, my day is over. That's it. But I can't do anything because copywriter has given me copy now. And my boss is saying, I need design by end of day because tomorrow it has to go into print. So what do? How do you get that designer to be on your side? Things like that, which is why that whole collaborative nature of the job that you have to do. Leadership, of course, it's important to be able to show that you can own something, you're responsible for something, you're able to execute something independently, you need less supervision, you can rally teams together. Like this designer example, right? To get him to do what you want to do. So you have to lead by example. So that sort of a thing, leadership qualities. And adaptability, because marketing is constantly changing. SEO rules are changing. LinkedIn is changing all the time. So you have to be able to adapt, change your mind. You have to have a very agile mind and be able to change what you're doing constantly. And in marketing, you're always in the middle of change, whether it's within the org or outside the org, because customers are changing, right? Like just pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, so much change has happened. So it keeps changing. Customers change. Before there was a time when the first customer support was where you would call people, you would leave a feedback form. That's how it all started, right? Those were just customer service things that you had or you would call. Then it slowly moved. We came off into the world of Facebook and Twitter, and then you could contact companies on Twitter and Facebook. Now we're moving into a third stage, right? Now you'll see WhatsApp. You must be noticing all your companies sending you messages on WhatsApp. They'll start telling you. So that's in conversation messaging. So customers are going different places. Technology is changing and marketing also has to change with that. So adaptability. What are these now technical skills? If you have to do hardcore marketing, right? And you want to go into the marketing space, these are things you need to have. One is the ability to craft a message. You have to be able to understand what are the different features that exist in this product. And you have to deliver like a 30-second page, 20-second page. What is the message that an audience can understand or they can relate to? So messaging, positioning, what is my product selling to? Carving out that message. Campaign management, right? Building out a campaign, planning the campaign, strategizing the campaign. Like a campaign can be even an email campaign. It's not necessarily an event. It could be an offer that you're going to roll out. So how do you plan that offer? What are the different stages? How do you plan that calendar? So campaign management. Then you have content strategy, which we've already spoken about. Digital strategy, which platforms are you going to be? What are you buying? What is the budget? Media planning, like I said, which parts of what are you buying, right? You need a media activation strategy, all of that. SEO, SEM, which is a really big part of marketing. SEO, search engine optimization, SEM, search engine marketing. So there are tools for all of these, right? I'm so sorry, the slides are just going forward. Research, again, market research if you want to do product marketing. Where is the market? Where are your customers? What is the customer's pain point? How are you able to figure that? Research and data analysis and interpretation. You have to be able to read raw data and you have to present it. I know a lot of you are English students, but if you have that ability to read numbers and to be able to interpret the numbers, that's a great skill to have with marketing because a lot of it relies on data these days. And how do you present that data that people can understand easily is one big thing. Marketing tools, like I said, right? SEO tools, CRM tools. CRM is customer relationship. Companies also have something called a CMS. Usually the marketing teams have a CMS or a content management system, right? That's where you structure your website, your landing pages. So how do you use that tool These are small things you can learn even now. You don't have to wait to get onto a job to pick up these SEO tools. SEM tools, SEO tools like Yoast, you have some of these are tools that are available and then you can try them out. So some of those tools, CMS is also a good skill to have, and especially at entry level, it's good to have an understanding of what a CMS is, how do I build something out on a CMS. Those are important things. Vendor management, like I said, you have to be able to coordinate with vendors, right? To get them to either, whether it's an event, whether it's a webinar, whether you're making a collateral, whether it's a designer. So how do you manage the vendor? You may have to work with analysts, you may have to work with influencers. They'll also be vendors to you. So how do you manage that vendor relationship? How do you negotiate with a vendor? How do you get the price down? All of those things. So vendor management, and how do you keep the vendor also happy that you get repeat business with that vendor? So vendor management, budgeting, all marketing teams will have a budget, right? How do you prioritize that budget? You have 1 million to spend in this quarter. 1 million is a lot of money, and a lot of times you don't know what to do that 1 million. So you've got to be able to figure out, where am I going to spend this money? What am I prioritizing? How does this play into my larger marketing plan? So budgeting, and usually when you get money for the quarter, you're expected to spend that money for the quarter, because next quarter you won't get money otherwise, right? So you have to learn to how to efficiently spend that, and not just spend it also, because they'll ask you where every dollar went. So budgeting, lots of numbers in these things, Excel sheets, even though tech has improved immensely, there are budgeting tools. But still, a lot of companies use Excel, numbers, a lot of data-driven things. So budgeting, writing, of course, goes without saying. If you're marketing, any aspect of marketing, some require more writing, some less. Like if you're content management, a copywriter, you will definitely have more marketing. But if you go more into a product space, growth marketing, but you still need to have writing acumen, because you'll need to give feedback. You'll need to make reviews. You'll have to make comments, right? So you have to have that writing skill to be able to do things like that. Design, very important. We don't have to know, you don't have to know a tool in and out. Like you don't have to know Adobe or Illustrator. There'll always be a designer. But in terms of design, you have to know what a good layout looks like. What colors go with each other. Whether something is too crowded. That's an input as a marketer that you have to give to the designer a lot of times, right? What colors go, what does the layout look like? So some basic understanding of design is really important, because a lot of times designers will come up with a lot of design which may not work in the market, right? So you have to be able to have that eye for design and aesthetics, because you will be that final person to sign off on that design. So design is important. So even small tools, right? Like you can still experiment with Canva, Sketch, all of these smaller tools. So if you have, and a lot, again, like I said, the 5 o'clock example, right? If the designer has to go and you do have some design skills, you can do it yourself, right? So that's why it's important to know design as well. So these are the hardcore marketing skills that you should pick up. And a lot of times, some of it you already know, some you can learn, all of these things, right? So I've spoken about the soft skills, I've spoken about the technical skills. Now, the next question would be, how do you get these skills? You're not going to get it in a literature class, not all of them, right? You're not going to be able to pick that up. And, maybe at this point, you may or may not do an MBA. So what will you do? How will you pick up these skills? Where do you go looking for marketing skills? Yeah, first thing, teach yourself. There are blogs that are available. I'm not saying you're going to be an expert, right? And I'm only looking at all of you final years who are going into the industry at entry-level positions. So you just need to have a basic understanding at this point. You'll always learn on the job, and you'll have to learn on the job. But there are some things that can give you an edge over someone else. If I know that someone's a fresher, I may not be inclined to take that person into my organization, because I'd like someone to come with some experience, some understanding. I don't want to do hand-holding from the scratch. So in the interview, if you could show me that you have a basic understanding, I don't have to teach you everything. You've learned something on your own. I get two things, right? One, I know that you are interested in learning. I know that you're a self-starter, which is such a big deal. I know that you are an independent person. So all of these I already understand by the fact that you're self-taught, right? So how do you learn self-teaching? There are blogs, Seth Godin, there's Neil Patel, there are Coursera certificates that you can do, or there are free online coaching that you can take. LinkedIn has some great courses. So you can look at all of that in any area of marketing, right? You can specialize in digital media planning. You can do a bit of content writing, social media strategy, all of these, right? Basic courses that you can do by yourself. So teach yourself, learn that. Internships, right? Look for, if you're interested in marketing, look for places that allow you to intern in marketing organizations, right? So ask for that. Look for internships where you can learn. And when you go on an internship, ensure that you're there for about a month at least a 60-day plan. Go with a 60-day plan, do a full-fledged project, do a project from conception to measurement. Always remember that measurement is very important. When you go to an interview and you say you've done something in social media, don't say that, ma'am, Rupa, I just scheduled posts on Sprout. But that's not enough. You have to tell me what was the impact of that post. So when you do internships, make sure to measure the results, because results is what you'll talk about in an interview, right? So make sure you get results from what you're doing. The result, like I said, either your engagement scores, metrics, what were the CTRs if you did emailers, what were the click-through rate, what were the open rates for your mailers, did you do a before and an after measurement? So make sure when you do internships, you get these details and you don't miss out on that, yeah? Professional, like I said, professional certifications. LinkedIn has courses which you can do over summer. So by 6 months, you're kind of prepped. So those kind of courses, ISB has a few, IIM have a few. So you can take a look at universities that offer these courses. You can do any one of those. Formal degrees, like an MBA, maybe after your graduation, you could do a postgraduate MBA in marketing. So that would be one of the other avenue you pick this up. Volunteering. If you can't get internships, maybe look at volunteering in organizations. And you can then, like it could be an NGO, a smaller bit, and you can pick up a project of your own, right? Since you're self-taught, you've read these blogs, set up your own Instagram handles, see what you can do with that, all of those. And then finally, definitely build a professional network, because now you're in the final year. Start connecting with alumni with your college, from your college, look at family and friends, go on LinkedIn, look at communities of areas of interest, whether it's content marketing, digital marketing, you'll always have community. So join those communities, join those forums, see what they're talking about, understand trends in the industry. You'll have to forget things that you're learning here. Once you start going on this, you'll have to learn new things. So start now, start early, build this, make this a practice to be able to, then this will also improve things like your own ability to search, your own ability to find, to connect, ask, partner with people, all of that, right? To start building your network. That's an important thing to do right away. Yeah. That's all I had for now, because I said, okay, I've got any questions?
There was some slide entry-level roles.
Yeah, but I want them to ask me a few questions first.
Yeah.
Let me start if you don't have questions yet, right? So again, yeah. There is this, there is this question about, the ability to craft a message.
Yeah.
So what do you think, is the entire thing, emphasis on grammar? Do you think that's important, or just knowing jargon and the right words to use? Okay, this is a debate in the industry itself, right? Whether grammar is also changing, and I personally, I do, I do pay attention to grammar uh, if it's not completely off, they'll still let it go. You know, you definitely need to have correct grammar. Your tenses have to be right. And and a the can be wrong. That's all right. You can make a typo, you know, and you can miss out if it's not changing the whole meaning of the sentence. But you definitely have to know enough grammar to be able to construct a sentence, you know, to be able to make that sentence meaningful and the meaning that you wanted that sentence to convey. So you have to have that much knowledge of grammar to be able to, I mean, we don't nitpick as much these days. We allow for things to go, but you can't be completely off base and absolutely not know grammar. And in marketing, there will also be proofreaders, there'll be content writers whose skill will be, or expertise will be in grammar and language. So you'll have help in those aspects. So even if you're not an expert in grammar, you can still be a marketer. You can be a marketer. It's always, I mean, but you have to know enough grammar. Then there's one more question. You spoke about CMS tools,
Yeah.
right? And you were saying that you should access those tools. So somebody wants to know how to go about accessing those. Yeah, one either when you're in an internship, you'll probably be able to, you know, usually interns, that's one of the first things we'll give them access to. Companies will have these tools. You can also play with those tools online. Try building a website, WordPress. It's not a complete CMS, but you can use WordPress, learn how to post things on WordPress, write on WordPress. Those are things, there are tools that are free that you can use online that you can find. A lot of them will also have trial offers. So you can use those Paperfly, Contently. There are some that you can even just do a trial to play around with those tools. And, that's how you could, learn some of those. And I mean, this is a generation that's used to tools, right? So it should come a lot more easy to you. It will actually.
Should I take your mask off? Should I take a picture? Should I take a picture? No, from here you take. It's not you. Which it does.
Probably on that.
Thank you. My question was, if you are a recruiter, and considering so many of us are already doing internships, what would give me an edge, or what would you consider if I was against someone? What qualities would you take if I was trying for marketing?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, if you're doing an internship and it's specifically around, like one of the things, even if you haven't done a direct marketing role, I'd expect you to show me how that internship helps you be a better marketer, or why that is interesting to you, and how is that shaping your idea of being a marketer. So I'd like you to be able to explain that to me, that yes, I did this internship, I did this. I have skills ABC, which I can bring to this role. So when you do an interview, you have to understand what is the role that you're interviewing for. You have to understand what are the skill sets required for that particular role. And they would have listed that out, right? You have to show me a connection between what you know, what you've done, to the roles that the skills that I am asking for. Right? You have to be able to show me that connection, to be able to articulate that, right? Or show me examples of what you've done. That, in one sense, will help me understand that you've done something that I can work with. So one of the things I would, after I've told you all these are the functions, this is the definition. One of the things that I'd also like you to know is what are the roles that exist at an entry level, right? I've given you a big definition of, but you're not going to be doing everything in field marketing. You're not going to be able to do everything in product. So what can you do at an entry level role, right? What are the roles that exist? these are a couple of roles, right? There are plenty more. You'll find them on LinkedIn, but these are roles that are already there, like a marketing research analyst, right? This will give you, they'll ask you to do some basic research, competitor research. Look at this company, look at that company, see what they're doing, what is their product messaging. So these are the kind of things they'll ask you to do. Now, if you're interested in numbers, if you're able to interpret data, if you have some amount of analytical thinking, if you have all of those, that's a role that you have to think about, wanting to get into research. The social media coordinator, like I said, they ask you to put things on Sprout. They'll ask you to either maybe write a post. They'll ask you to monitor. They have listening tools called Hootsuite. So you could listen to what customers are saying, go back to your department, tell them that this is what they're talking about. So social media coordinators, digital marketing coordinators, researching on different platforms, coming up with media plans, all of that, right? Content specialist. That is some an easier role for you to sort of get into because you come with a literature background. But some of the way you write will have to change. You'll have to start understanding domain, right? Now, that's a very important skill to have as a content writer. You have to understand the domain that you're writing for. You'll learn literature and all of that, but when you come into marketing, you'll have to figure out what is the pain point? What are people suffering? What is the first thing they want solved using my solution, right? So you have to understand that domain. What is this technology solving for? What is this business all about? You have to do that kind of reading. A lot of reading will have to come. And that's a big shift, I would say, for literature students to start writing business content. That's a really big shift to be able to read through a lot of data and come up with a structure. That's something that I find freshers find hard, right? So that's an area that you'll have to read up a lot in terms of business writing. Media coordinator, events assistant, this you'll probably have to work with vendors, come up with locations for events, logistics of the event, all of those things. Usually at entry level, we don't ask more than this. SEO specialist, here's where you'll want to understand what an SEO tool does, what are keywords, how do you do keyword search, how does your page rank on Google, I'll also want somebody who can analyze metrics for an SEO specialist, dashboards, right? How do you read a dashboard, Google Analytics? I want you to have some understanding, or you learn Google Analytics, Power BI, all of these dashboards, right? Lead scoring, all of these things is what you'll do as an SEO specialist. And sales enablement, writing emailers, doing pitch decks for them, speaking to sales, crafting call scripts for sales, cold calls, or even cold emails. That's a specialty in itself. One of the things that's also changing in the industry is the industry is moving away from generalist roles to more niche roles. That's why you'll see things like digital marketing associate, you'll see digital strategist, you'll see content planning, you'll see very, very niche roles, email marketing. Email marketing will be a specialization in itself. And it's a very, very hard skill. And it's really hard for us because it's short form content. And you have to get that problem very quickly and you have to be able to finish that in 3 lines. It's a really hard skill. It's a very specialized skill. And this is a skill that's missing in India. We tend to go usually to the US to find this skill. So if you can pick this up, that will be excellent. So short form writing, that's also hard to come by. So those kind of writings. So email marketing, copywriters, again, your literature students, economy students, journalism students. Copywriting is a skill much in need again, and not just by ad agencies, right? Even technology writing requires, you need to be able to not just write copy, you also have to be able to create videos. I don't know how much of videos you girls do, but that's a big, big ask now, creating video scripts. How do you write for, how do you create video scripts?
Reels then.
Oh, reels. Okay, excellent. All of this is are really niche skills that are going to, like Instagram was one of the top skills of last year, by the way. people who could market on Instagram. That's for a B2C audience. B2B is not there completely, but definitely B2C. B2B is also getting there. So Instagram, all of these new platforms, and even Facebook, people have moved away from, at least for B2B. So new platforms that are coming up, TikTok, all of these, right? PR coordinators, mostly to write a press release, to edit a press release, what publications should you be looking for, pitch your ideas. PR also requires you, at entry level, not as much, but as you grow in PR, you need to have networking skills. You have to be able to make friends with the journalists. You should have them on your phone to be able to call them, get an interview, get a byline in, all of that, right? That becomes a PR skill. You'll always have an agency who will write the content for you, but what you need is this networking skills. You need very, very strong domain knowledge. You should know the messaging of your company. You have to know why you are telling this story. Why is the story interesting to the press? Why will a journalist want to pick up your story? All of that is what a PR person needs to know, right? You have to be able to do that. So that's in terms of PR. Internal comms, again, usually internal comms sometimes falls into marketing, many times falls into HR. And internal comms and something called employer branding. All of that falls mostly into HR. So internal comms is about communicating within the organization. Internal comms also has an exciting aspect of exec comms, right? When you write, and all of these are good areas for literature grad, where you write speeches or ghostwrite articles. You do somebody, your CEO is going for an event, so you write his speech for him, or he has a town hall coming up, so you set up that whole town hall. All of that internal comms. You do employee engagement. All of that comes with internal comms, right? Diversity, inclusion, all of that becomes part of internal comms. So essentially, these are opening roles, right? Opening, entry level roles, and then you grow. And you can grow either vertically, you can go into product marketing and become like specialized in product marketing, or you can move roles, move from products to fields to growth. You can move across the organization. All of these will fold into the CMO. They'll have different levels, but they will all fold into a chief marketing officer. That's how the org structure of the marketing team will go. So now I told you about the skills you need, how you can get those skills, what are these jobs. Finally, when you go to an interview, what are they going to ask you? What questions will you have to answer, right? Simple questions at entry level. Tell me about yourself, right? But what are they really asking you? They don't want to know that you grew up in somewhere. They want to know how you can tell a story, right? What is interesting, how you can pick up something interesting about yourself to keep me engaged, right? So that's what they want to know. So pick up details about your life that are significant, that show, in some way you've done something for this role. So tell me about yourself. Very simple question, but that's what they're looking at. Why are you interested in marketing? What makes this job interesting for you? Think about that answer. Why do you want to be there? What have you done? And you can show what you've done to be a good marketer, right? You have to position your answer like that. You have to go back and tell them that this is what I've done. I found this interesting, and therefore I think I'm a good fit for marketing, right? Those are the things they ask you. Give me an example. Always for an interview, have examples of things you've done. Because even if they don't ask you, you can go back to that example and say, hey, I did this. That's what I'm saying here. While you're doing your internship, collect these data metrics, right? And then you showcase that in an interview. Right? Always have an example. It could be a college project that you worked in, right? You would have written a white paper for, not a white paper. You would have done some research paper, some dissertation. How did you go about researching that paper? Research is an important aspect of marketing. So just showcasing that. Right? Learn to showcase those skills. Why are you interested in working for our company? A lot of entry-level questions will be this. This they want to see, have you gone back and done any research? Go to the website, what is the mission, what is the values? Look at some of the marketing material that they've already created. Have some answers and say, hey, I thought this was a good project that your company did. Highlights this aspect. So do some work on what is the company. What brands do you follow? Who are the influencers that you are, following? Like I said, Seth Godin, Neil Patel. Look at brands. If you're in marketing, you want to understand. and you'll want to know, they'll want to see that you're interested in marketing, right? So that's why they'll ask you, who are you following? What are you reading? You know, so you'll have to now slowly move away from binge watching and streaming Netflix to doing some of this work, right? Because you're now at that cusp of moving into the work world. So who do you follow? What motivates you? And when they ask you questions like what motivates you, they are trying to look for a culture fit. They're trying to see that, you know, you can fit into the culture of that company, what the company stands for. Are you capable of, you know, being a person that works with that kind of culture? So the last two questions, the last question, this what motivates you, you know, what drives you, what do you find challenging? All of these questions are essentially to look at a culture fit. That's one thing. And finally, they always ask you this, do you have any questions for me? Why do you think they ask you that? Why do they think, do you have any questions? Why is that question there? Do they just want to, you know, the first two questions. First one, I already told you why. Usually these are opening questions and these are closing questions. Why? Is it like a vote of thanks? You know, it's a mandatory question. So let's just ask this, you know, let's just put it out there. Or is there a purpose in that question? Yeah.
No, exactly what.
Okay, one, to know that you're not coming out like in a blank slate. Okay, to know that you're serious about this job. And yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, take the mic, take the mic.
Also to know whether you are actually interested in it, or just that you can have an idea about that company.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
kind of criteria you can say.
Yeah, it's one true to know whether you're interested, what you said. It's also to gauge your level of curiosity, right? That's a big deal now. Like people want to know your sense of curiosity, your level of interest, you know, and what sort of questions are you asking? You know, like in one of our town halls, the CEO had left the floor open for questions. And one of the questions was, there's no salt in the buttermilk. You know, so if you ask a question like, there's no salt in the buttermilk, is that the only problem you have? You know, that is, it's probably a great problem to have. But, you know, so no salt. And so what kind of question are you asking, right? So your level of interest, your kind of curiosity, what sort of person you are. So all of this is what they kind of gauge from that. Ask me. So usually the kind of questions you must, I'm also giving you the answer. The questions you must ask is, what is the success metrics for this? How do you measure success of this role? What do you think I will learn in this role? You know, what are some of the challenges you see, you know, you foresee for a candidate who's going to do this role? Yeah. So those are some of the questions you can ask. Don't ask how much you're paying me. Do not ask, you don't have to ask those kind of questions, right? So those kind of things, what will I learn from this role? That's a question, that's the thing they're looking at, right? Are you ready to learn? Those are the things. I know we are way off time, so I'm going to. No. Yeah, that's all I have. This is all I have to cover. I don't know if you have questions, but maybe you can just tell them over. I know we are really off.
Not at all, yeah. Does anybody have a question? Okay, one girl has a question.
Ma'am, the process for interviews has changed a lot now because most of us are still students and we're applying for internships. They all happen through LinkedIn or Internshala. It's already difficult for our profile to get selected till the interview round. From there, we can take it from everything you've taught and all the skills that we have taken through college. But how do you get till there? It's not just what makes you stand out, but is there, other than a resume, what more can you do that makes a recruiter interested in you before an interview?
Yeah, okay. So this is actually a recruitment question because not so much, because usually recruiters will look through your resumes first, right? So I know resume writing is a big deal, especially at the fresher level. A lot of times it's how you present your resume. Either it should be eye-catchy. A lot of times now people also ask for videos to, put yourself out on a video, make a small video clip, embed that in the PDF. So that will also catch the eye of a recruiter. So the easy and yet hard way is to have connections, to be able to, like I said, do a lot more internships, find a network, message people through LinkedIn, right? Find out who is the recruiter, message them. That's possible if their inboxes are open. Message the recruiter directly. That's another way of getting your recruiter to notice you. I hope that answers. Like I said, this is more of a recruitment question, but that's what you need to have.
Thank you, ma'am. That answers. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to me. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now we have come to the end of our session. On behalf of the Department of English, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to Dr. Sister Lalita Thomas, our principal, for her constant encouragement and support. My sincere thanks to Ms. Rupa Pereira for an inspirational and an eye-opening session. Your interactive and very creative way of presentations involving the participants was terrific. And it was also interesting to see it through the eyes of the marketing person rather than as a customer. And we hope to have future interactions with you as well. I would also like to thank our technical and support staff, Sir Praveen, Basil Sir, and also Richard Sir and Roger Sir for their timely assistance in the smooth functioning of this event. I would like to thank all the participants present here, as well as who joined virtually, for your enthusiastic participation. Once again, thank you one and all. The feedback form is pasted in the chat box. The participants are encouraged to fill the same for these certificates. Thank you.